community, and welcome to the middle of our last long weekend of summer. I see we have some visitors with us today, and I'm Dr. Nita, founder and CEO of Dr. Nita Enterprises. As a C-suite trusted advisor and board director, I help executive teams reframe diversity conversations from difficult to different. Thanks for joining us today. Monday is Labor Day, and I wanted to think about labor in terms of the labor of love that is also known as fostering belonging. Fostering belonging is a labor of love because it acts like being intentional. It sounds like telling someone how much you value them. It looks like having someone's back, and most importantly, fostering belonging is a labor of love because it feels like being an essential member of a community, the way you are in this Keeping It Real with Dr. Nita community. Your membership in this community is essential to me, and I appreciate your support and dedication as engaged listeners and advocates of my voice in the diversity, inclusion, and belonging space. In the workplace, I often facilitate an exercise that describes belonging in terms of what it acts, sounds, looks, and feels like, because I firmly believe that if we can explain belonging in the workplace, we can attain belonging in the workplace. And being able to explain belonging invites every voice into the conversation so that people can share from their lived experiences what belonging means to them. Unless we can clearly describe belonging, how can we possibly recognize belonging? And when we can recognize belonging, we can be certain that we are on the road to cultivating belonging. This month, I'm having a real conversation from the C-suite with Ms. Monica Pleasant, HR Director at Medtronic. She's also the president of the Orange County National Human Resources Association and a member of the LA and Orange County NHRA's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Council, along with me. I'm focusing on Monica's work in leading the Belonging Project at Medtronic because she will be a featured best practice leader during an NHRA webinar, which will be held virtually on Wednesday, October 26th from 4 to 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. For details about the webinar, please go to www.nhralosangeles.org and click the DEI button at the top center of the screen. As I recall the conversation I had with Monica, I thought about a typical workplace meeting, either virtually or in person. When I work with emerging leaders or leaders of people in middle management, I recommend they come to any meeting prepared to do 3 things as the opportunity presents itself. Number 1, share a relevant fact that introduces new NEW knowledge in the meeting. Number 2, ask a thoughtful question that reframes new KNEW knowledge in the meeting. Number 3, amplify the voice of a colleague around the table. In Monica's work, leading the Belonging Project at Medtronic, she will share with us the concept of an inclusive meeting toolkit, which is certainly new NEW knowledge. I think you'll enjoy hearing about that. Then she'll talk about their Belonging video series that will reframe new KNEW knowledge about what belonging looks, acts, feels, and sounds like from the perspective of diverse employees at Medtronic. I consider this KNEW knowledge because we all have experience being part of an out-group and not feeling a sense of belonging. And we all have experience being part of an in-group and absolutely feeling a sense of belonging. Either of those experiences are known to all of us, and reframing how to foster a sense of belonging for everyone sometimes is reached by remembering what it felt like not to belong, so we avoid contributing to that feeling for others. Finally, Monica will talk about the growth mindset that people leaders must cultivate in order to foster a sense of belonging that isn't forced, but is a result of inclusive leadership. To me, that means finding, or better yet, creating opportunities to amplify the voice of a colleague around the table, in a meeting at work, or in the streets at a march. I want to leave you with this thought as we prepare for our real conversation from the C-suite with Monica. Employee engagement is an outcome of the employee experience. When employees experience a sense of belonging, employee engagement is limitless. So when we think of creating employee experiences during these final days of summer, let's gather our teams, practice the fundamentals of human-affirming behaviors, and cheer on your teammates by amplifying their voices. Then let's load up the bases, swing for the fences, and hit a home run in the belonging ballpark. Until next time, this is Dr. Nita reminding you to stay blessed and keep it real.